off these shiny.
Welcome to TruthStream. We are here today with Angela Schermerhorn, founder of the Skippity-Dudah event that takes place in Florida. And this year, 2023, it'll be in Sarasota. And we're also very excited to welcome back Cathy O'Brien, who will be speaking at the Skippity-Dudah event. And this event will be, I believe, is it May 6th, Angela?
It is. It is
Yeah,
May 6th, Saturday.
Glad I got that right. So we're really here to support the Skippity-Dudah event and both of these amazing women and what they are here for. And that's it's an event to bring to light an awareness, human trafficking, and that it's real and all the components of it. So that being said, Angela, please take it from here, and then we'll just segue into a wonderful conversation.
Take it from here. Okay. Thank you. I didn't know I was going to be taking it from here.
Well, that's okay. Well,
how about we start with the event itself, and then you guys.
Yes, exactly. Wherever you, yeah. So talk to us about Skippity-Dudah, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Can I share the screen real quick?
Absolutely.
Skippity-Dudah is a skipathon. So if you think of like walkathon, marathon, but you're skipping. And when I say skipping, this is not skipping with a jump rope. Let me go to the, this is actually skipping like a child would skip. And that is the whole purpose. Are y'all able to see the website right there?
Yes, I can see it clearly. Thank you.
Okay, good. And so skipping, I mean, the reason why skipping, first of all, it's great exercise, and there is a page on the website. Right now I'm on the website. That's what I'm sharing the screen of. And there is a page that talks about what skipping does. And so if anyone is a big fitness buff, then you can go there and see that it's 30% burns 30% more calories than running. But that's not really the purpose. It's just something fun for a very, very heavy subject, which of course is child trafficking and the restoration process. And so the heart of this is to restore by funding aftercare and partnering with aftercare organizations that are already in the process and already working, have a staff, they have homes built. Cathy can probably share with you in a minute, or you can now, Cathy, about how long a restoration process is or an aftercare process, and it just depends on the level. But from what I understand with the people I've worked with, it's not because so much trauma has happened in their lives, whether they're trafficking or the trafficking, the abuse, exploitation, whether it started at 2 years old or 12 years old, it's still, everyone's a different individual. So it's not like an overnight halfway house for a week in the restoration process. It's a very long process, and Cathy can share more of that with you. Now, Cathy O'Brien is going to be a speaker here, or a guest at least. Maybe we put her on the spot, but just looking at the website. So this is May 6th. This is some footage from last year, and this is everyone coming together. So if you guys, this is the homepage right here, and then you can volunteer or sponsor, you can register or just donate. There's a donation only. And this right here is all the speakers that are going to be here.
Oh, wow. Lee Dundas too.
Yeah, Lee Dundas.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then this is her partner, Jason Cisneros, and he's actually a comedian, but he is, and I'll show you this, he has been doing kind of not incognito, but he has, several businesses, and he's, you can look him up, but he does the rescue missions, to free the traffic survivors on a not on the level of like Operation Underground Railroad, where it's but they have actually they do have that. They just don't talk about it much because of the privacy that has to go within that. But Jason and Lee are good friends, and they're actually business partners in some things. And so Mike Smith from Out of Shadows, Mary Flynn, and I know Mary is speaking. General Flynn may or may not be there, but their group, which is America's Future, and then they have an arm of it called Project Defend and Protect Children. But actually, there's a whole page. So if people want to know who they're going to be listening to, they could go here and then find all of the the right.
Very cool. Now,
Yeah.
Is Mary Flynn, is she Mike's wife or
Oh no, no, that's Mike's sister.
Mike's sister? Okay, that makes sense. I didn't think so.
Nine children in that family. Two of
Wow.
them are girls. Yeah, it's really fascinating. And Mary, she has a different angle. And I think I mentioned this before, but I don't think we were recording, is that everyone represents, because there's so many facets. It's very deep, very wide, very dark. And so one speaker like Liz Crokin and Mel K are brilliant journalists who dug into it many years ago, which is how I found out about them many years ago before, Jeffrey Epstein came out and all of that. So everyone has a different angle, whereas Cisneros, he's involved with the rescue missions. Lee Dundas, that's actually before you see her as or the Freedom Fighter Nation. She was already working to free trafficked children in the Asian countries. So she has a fascinating story there. Mary Flynn, of course, they've actually had this organization, America's Future, since 1946. And
Oh, wow.
this seems, gosh, I feel like I'm just rambling on because I don't want to lose the audience. But basically, all of these people now, this right here, this is Doc and Rainey Nave, and they are the founders of Bikers Against Trafficking. They are phenomenal. They are both survivors.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So it's not like they don't know anything about it. They are the most sensational people. They're wonderful. They like to call themselves thrivers instead of survivors, but they are wonderful. They were with us last year. They're going to be speaking because they come from the position kind of like Cathy, where they've lived through it.
Oh,
And that's to be able to be restored, to recover from that, and I'm sorry, it's a miracle that Cathy O'Brien and Doc and Rainey Nave now are housing hundreds of them, and have teams, to restore these victims, survivors, whatever you want to call them, that have been through this. And I'm sorry, I'm crying. I've never been through it. I was really blessed to not have to go through that, but that's why I'm so thankful for people like Doc and Rainey Nave and Cathy O'Brien that suffered, such tremendous, horrendous things that most of our minds could never fathom. Never fathom. And so to have people come out and share some of their story, whether it's, detailed or not, it's beautiful. And to see that Doc and Rainey, they're a married couple, and they started Bikers Against Trafficking, which is international, and they are out of Lake Mary, Florida. And so they are already housing so many. I think up to this point, I'm not saying 100 homes are built, because sometimes the homes are in different forms and different adoptive parents and foster parents. This is out of the government system, out of the corruption of the government system, which Cathy can tell you about. So I just wanted to go over the speakers. Mike Smith, of course, was one of the first ones that introduced with Liz Crokin on Out of Shadows documentary.
Yeah.
The most banned documentary in the history of the world, of the planet. So they're a segment. They blew the whistle on Hollywood, so they have more of the Hollywood angle. Melissa Redpill, I call her the world's happiest. She's just happy. She's just fun. She's fun. She does stories on that. It's not her main focus, but she won't be speaking from that manner. She'll just be introducing everybody and making everybody joyful.
Well, and she's taught the Bible for 40 years.
Yeah. So have you had a show with her?
Oh, I watch her. We're hoping, Melissa, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the show,
Yeah.
as well as any of your I just got to commend you on your lineup. My gosh. And then we have
It wasn't me.
here with us.
I
feel honored we get to even have this conversation with you.
Oh, definitely.
Thank you. Well, whoa. Yeah. Well, for me to meet Cathy O'Brien, to be able to, when I saw this, she'll share with you. I'm sorry, Cathy, I'm talking too much, but I think it was 1984, the one where you were very young along the lattice in the background. I remember seeing that in 2014. Just came across it. This is before everything was censored.
Right.
And found that, and it was so traumatized. I'm like, there's no way this woman could live through this. So, Kath, but one thing I want to do is, you guys, have you seen her documentary?
I
Trina?
have, yes.
Is it
Yeah, it's everything. It's heartbreaking, it's inspiring. Yeah, yeah.
And I want to encourage everyone that's watching to go and purchase it, so that so it can support her, and also just to learn and to have it and to understand, that level. That's probably, Kathy has the in my opinion, the deepest level of, well, I guess the restoration part of it would be, just the overcoming with that. Would that be right? With all the levels of the mind control that you had to go through. In my opinion. But anyway, I just encourage everybody and we'll share the website and
Yeah,
everything.
absolutely.
Her books are amazing. And anyway, so go ahead, Kathy. This is Kathy O'Brien.
Angela,
I appreciate you so much.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Angela, do you want to stop the share so we can see more of
Oh,
that?
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Oops.
And we
Okay.
can bring something up later. I just want people to see Kathy's face while she tells the story.
I apologize. Okay. Can you kind of direct me on that?
Yeah, there should be a button that says stop.
There it is. Okay. Okay.
There we go. Perfect. That's all right. We've done this before where we didn't say that. And then we were talking with our guest for like 30 minutes and we could have said something. So anyway, we're good. Now we've learned. That's how we learn. So anyway, thank you for being here, both of you. And Kathy, welcome back.
Thanks. That was a great overview and introduction on all the speakers of what's going on. It's really amazing when someone is as dynamic and energetic as Angela pulls an event like this together, because human trafficking is a very, very heavy subject, especially when you get into the child sex trafficking. And it's been going on my whole life. So it's nothing new. It's just that people are seeing it now and they're waking up to it. They're beginning to understand the pervasiveness of it, because the human trafficking across open borders and child sex trafficking is the most lucrative business in the world. So we've got to face the reality of it. And it's hard to do that. But when someone pulls it together like Angela does with a Skippity-Dudah, where everybody is taking an approach that inspires solutions instead of overwhelms with dark information, that's exactly what's needed today. And I'm so excited to get to be a part of this. My friends are speaking, people I've known for a long time, and people that I've met briefly that I want to know more. And I'm looking forward to meeting Angela in person and giving her a hug for the amazing job she's done, pulling this all together for all of us. And above all, for what it means for the children. And the aftercare is so important. There's so many different ways that the children are being rescued. There's so many different ways that they're coming out, and people are seeing it, wondering what they can do, where they can turn, who will actually help and not be a part of the problem. It's quite a dilemma at this point because it's all so fresh. And here you are on that leading edge with solutions that are very viable and reputable and are actually making a difference. I'm so happy for that. People need a safe place in order to heal. And I think the main message that I want to bring forward and share is that it's within us all to heal, no matter what level of abuse or control we've experienced, no matter what level of torture. We have been blessed with the most amazing resiliency to heal body, mind, and spirit. We've got it all within us, and we just need to remember how to access that, tap into that infinite strength, infinite love, and heal and start living life as it's intended to live, free of control, free of manipulation, and free to live life's purpose. So we've got a wonderful opportunity, and I'm looking forward to Skippity-Doodah and joining in the skipping and bringing such powerful information to light in a palatable way.
One thing I was going to say, thank you, Kathy, for saying that, is, you know, some people, by the way, there is a page on the website that is who is and what is Skippity-Doodah. Skippity-Doodah is an event, and it's just what I'm led to do. It's my assignment by God. And I was called into it, didn't know anything about it many years ago. The one thing that I have found, and Scott, Joe, y'all tell me if you're finding the same thing, you know, as people have learned about the trafficking in the last 2 years, or, you know, the pedophilia, all of it, you know, it's all wrapped together. They don't know what to do. I mean,
Right.
yes, of course, sharing, you know, information. So, because the more people are awake, the more, you know, they can help. But then even if they didn't work, if they were awake, they would not know where to go. Who can I trust? Well, now I'm starting to hear that the CPS is, you know, I'm just talking about if you are someone that wants to help and wants to do, I don't even know where to start. And this was something that God had led me to do for this, was that he wanted me to have something that drew attention to it, that would bring people together so that they would know and form teams and support systems where they could say, okay, we're fighting for the children. They have no voice, but we can speak for them. And if we have to come together and skip, you know, on a Saturday afternoon, you know, to show our voice and learn and listen more. And that, and by the way, Skippity-Doodah, it is designed to not just inform people, but to make just the general public, what we would call the normies, you know, that don't know about it, parents that need to make aware and prevent it. See, that's going to be a huge chunk of stopping everything, is preventing it. So whether it's the arm of teaching parents, grandparents, to teach their children, grandchildren about the cyber part of it, about the grooming and the predators and how they get the kids, you know, through, you know, online, through video games. I mean, these are all things that are taught so that people can walk away with tools. The other thing is that, like last year, and I didn't even expect this, but so many people, they came together, they met others, and now they're currently working, you know, with these groups, whether they were a psychotherapist, a nurse, or whatever. They just, now they have connections where they wouldn't have known each other before had they not showed up that day. So not only are you supporting the children and telling these trafficked kids, if they could find out about it, you know, if they were in a position, we do love you and we care about you and we're fighting for you and we want you to be restored and we love you. Look at all these people that come out for this, you know, for you, if somehow they could get that message. Because I'm sure at this point they're like, who cares? There's nothing I can do. I'm trapped, you know. And but this is a way for people coming together, but there's so many other things that can happen within it. It's not just a rah, oh, let's skip together and just, you know, raise some money for the restoration, for building the homes and the teams for the children. It's way beyond that. I didn't expect it to be, honestly. I didn't think, but I've gotten so much feedback from people all over the nation saying, I met this person and we're now working. I mean, there was a woman that reached out and donated all this acreage that she had in some other state that didn't, you know, that wasn't, but it's just that kind of thing. You know, the more people find out about it, the more it's out there. These people can come together collectively and help these survivors, you know, these victims, these, you know.
Right. Well, you know,
exactly. You know,
go ahead, Kathy.
Awareness is the first step towards positive, necessary change. And
Yeah.
ultimately, it's people helping people that'll make the difference, because there's too many organizations that have been infiltrated and corrupted. And it's up to us to help each other. And this Skippity-Doodah empowers that, and it brings people together so that they can connect and start making the positive difference that they're wanting to.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, we've all been trafficked in one way or another, when it starts with the birth certificates and and going into that system and our trusts that where they're hijacking the money that we were supposed to get at the starts of our lives, and that's one rabbit hole. But this Kathy's been through the most, I would say, traumatic part of this. So I just think how many years have you been doing the Skippity-Doodah event, Angela?
Oh, this is just the third year.
Just the third year. Well, I think that's what's so amazing about it is you're taking something that's a really heavy subject, and you're inviting people in a way to be positive and active. And I mean, if this is the third year, I mean, I see this growing perhaps outside of Florida. I mean, is there ever?
Well, that would be great. That would be great. It's
Certainly
a matter
needs
of getting teams and finances to do that. I'd love to do it. I would do it full time. I was just doing the first year because I was just doing the normal donating to organizations that I trusted, that I vetted,
Right.
Sharing information on social media, and then really Father just said, you're going to have to do more than this, and this is kind of, like, this is great that you're doing that. It's admirable. And he created me with skills and gifts. So people just should be encouraged to do whatever they can do. Now, I'm not a non-profit organization, and I don't have even a desire, but I do like to draw attention marketing. I have my own ad agency and all that. For many years I worked in marketing, so I do enjoy drawing attention to a cause or a great product or whatever it is. And so it was, and I will tell you this, I mean, the first year was in a kind of a small little sleepy town up in Northwest Florida. Was the first one. It's called Santa Rosa Beach. It's a very sweet town. Everybody loves it that know about it. It's close to Destin. And I just want to say this about, if any, do y'all know LT from, and we know his
I don't know him, but I love his work. He blows my mind. I think he's just amazing.
He's so great. His story is phenomenal. So he's writing a book about that. But anyway, he was I just reached out to him. We had done some just business transactions, and I was his real estate agent, actually, even though he hasn't moved here. Anyway, it's so he was promoting it on his show. 100% of the people that showed up, which was only about 120 people, 100% came from his show, because people were hungry. Not one local showed up, except for the girl that spoke, because that was her, her skill, or that was her. She worked Operation Underground Railroad, which is a fine organization, and she spoke there. We did a beach bonfire with a big smorgasbord. We skipped down to the beach. Anyway, it was lovely. It was so wonderful that first year. We didn't even have any of these. Just LT just ran the ad or talk about it every once in a while. And he just has such a loyal base and fan following that people drove from Arkansas, Texas, Tennessee, every state. And there was I don't know, maybe 2 people from Florida, and that was Northwest Florida. So it was amazing. But see, even though it was small, it was the first year. Yeah, there's a lot of flub ups and stuff, but people just wanted to let, others know, but they also wanted to come together to say, hey, we love you. We care about you. We know you're trapped in this situation. I'm talking about the children. I'm talking about, the ones being trafficked, and no matter what stage they're in. And it was just so beautiful to see that people would drive, 8, 12 hours, even overnight, to get to an afternoon. It was just phenomenal. So thank you for saying that for this year. But that first year, it just meant so much, just because one person announced it, and that's how powerful, his audience is.
Well, now he has 375,000 people that follow, and we know, on Rumble. That's
just Rumble.
Yeah, his sons help him. I mean, I haven't met him, but I'd love to meet him.
Guy. Awesome. You know what says a lot about a person is their kids. He has the most amazing kids. They came in, him and his wife came and spent some days with us here. And anyway, history. Like President Trump's children are always, they're prosperous and kind and good people, and that's how his children are. They're just amazing. So even if, I know when you're in the spotlight, a lot of times people get judged by stuff. Let me tell you, he is a stellar person. And he has done so much, just for Skippydeedoodah, just for announcing it. He can't even be here this year. I think it's going to be in another country. But anyway, he still would be a part of it. Okay, so that's how it started. But that's how it started. I didn't expect it to, but then, as I was like, okay, this is good. People need somewhere to go. People need a group. They need a support system. They need to know what to do. And that first year, although small, really showed me, that this is more important. People just don't want to talk about it because it's so dark. Am I right, Kathy?
Absolutely. You know what? It's amazing listening to you talk here. It's such a testimony in itself that you listened and paid attention, that this was what you could do to make a difference, and followed that. I know from my life's experience, my tortured experience in MK Ultra mind control, that without free thought, there's no free will. With no free will, there's no soul expression, no ability to tap into the strength of the human spirit and to live love and live life's purpose. And to me, in my healing, that was the most amazing discovery of all. And Mark told me that a concept of time equates to a concept of awareness. And that really helped me to heal. And even the healing book of the healing methods he taught me is PTSD, time to heal, because time is so important in staying present, staying aware, and not dissociating anymore, and being able to be active. And so time to me was a very important aspect. I always wear a watch my watch, pay attention, stay present. But you know what? It's that timing that's more important. I found that there's like this synchronistic universal flow, this big picture timing, that where miracles seem to unfold and everything falls into place, bigger and better and beyond anything I could ever imagine. And to be in that flow, to live it with love and with purpose, things unfold so much more than anything that we could have planned or made happen. And that's what I'm hearing you saying. That's how you got in that flow. You followed that and everything unfolded and the miracles fell into place. And look at now what's happening with this, the awareness that it's raising, and the speakers. Most people couldn't pull in those greatest speakers in one little group anytime. This is your
Not everybody is
you got all these
for sure. I don't have that Clay Clark anointing, but God, there's a phenomenon right there. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
You are
anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, that I just find that to be the most important aspect of life, and it's what motivates me to continue speaking out. It's not to complain and be bitter, and but it's to remind people that it's within us all to heal. And when we do, we have this capacity over here. Mind control is a sliding scale from the kind of robotic, torturous MK Ultra mind control that I experienced on a White House Pentagon level to information control. Because information control is in itself a form of mind control. The indoctrination of our children in the so-called education system where history's been altered, it changes their whole knowledge base. And when we think about it, that we all formulate our thoughts, our opinions, and ultimately our actions based on what we know. And we need to know that knowledge base has been altered for a long, long time. Information has been suppressed. It's been kept from the public on mind control. Knowledge is our defense against it. And once we understand it, we have a defense, and we don't no longer comply with nefarious agendas. But what's so important is that when people realize that they've been manipulated by controlled media and censorship and denied pertinent facts, then they need to get out in society, talk to each other, eye to eye, heart to heart, soul to soul, meet up in groups, talk to each other. And here you are, just at this most pivotal moment in time when people are gravitating to this and realizing they've been manipulated, looking for answers outside of controlled media, looking for answers within themselves, and then joining together. And here you are right on the leading edge of that with Skippity-Dudah, making it happen, empowering people with truth that is so needed to make a difference for the children. And ultimately, that is the ultimate motivation is for the children's sake,
Yes.
and to stop them from being manipulated, sexualized, controlled, and trafficked. It's got to stop, and it begins with us.
That's right.
They've done such a good job of keeping this enormous problem a secret. It's shocking to me, but in my engagements with other people, when I bring it up, they're immediately coming from a space of denial. That can't possibly be true. Those numbers don't make sense. That couldn't be going on under our noses. So the awareness portion of it, and you're doing a phenomenal job with that, is to just make people aware of, yes, this is happening. And I think once that sets in and becomes a part of our vernacular, there'll be an overwhelming amount of support against it. But the powers that be that have kept this information from us are, pretty powerful. So, I definitely applaud you for taking it on. And again, it really is about, once people become aware of the fact that this is a real thing, they immediately get fired up.
Well, is it possible to go into the numbers, if either of you care to, just so that people can understand the gravity and the level of what we're dealing with here? I mean, in any level.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Actually, I'm working on that website page right now. I had it up. I can go to last year. I don't have it on because I'm changing it all out because it constantly needs to be updated as far as how many. But let me just y'all go ahead. Actually, I wanted Cathy, because Cathy, some people may be watching that have no idea what you've been through, who you are. They could Google it, but do you have like a summary where you could tell people, and then I could find these numbers and what's going on? Because that's what I'm building right now, Joe and Scott, is I'm rebuilding that page, and it's not live yet.
Okay.
And so that's what we had last year. That way people could start their research in a place that could be that is not censored, it's just direct websites. And there's so many out there. I mean, honestly, Operation Underground Railroad has such an extensive amount of facts and research. Great place to go. I know other people think different things, but anyway, they have a lot of great information. So but go ahead, Cathy, about your what you came out of, if you can.
Well, mind control is a sliding scale. Like I said, from the kind of experience that I had to information control, but also the sexualization of children is a sliding scale, and it goes in different areas of society that we need to be aware of. Like there's the trafficking across open borders. There's the pedophile agenda where politicians and judges are compromised through blackmail and pedophile acts.
Right.
There's so many different layers to how the children are being used and how adults are used too. And it's male and female. And it's very widespread, and it's on different levels. There's the kind where we see the sexualization of children in the school system. That's part of the pedophile agenda. It's part of the mind control agenda. It had been found in the Hitler-Himmler research that came over with Project Paperclip in the wake of World War II. Yes. That trauma is the basis of mind control, whether it's of an individual or of a nation. And the ultimate trauma on the human mind is sexual abuse of a child prior to age 5 while their brain is still forming. They found that is the ultimate basis of mind control. In Project Monarch that I was exposed to, it's a generational, multi-generational project. And it focuses on the generations, on how we pass information down from generation to generation in our brains, not just to each other from, you know, outside environment, but we genetically pass it down. It's like how language is passed down. After 3 generations, it becomes autogenic in the brain. Any belief system, any knowledge base, any abuse base becomes autogenic after
What do you
3
mean by that
generations.
when you're saying generational? So, like in your case, kind of give an example of your case. Were you the first generation, or was it that your father was?
Yeah,
Mhm.
my parents, their parents, they were actively involved, and so I was at least the 3rd generation is what they were wanting to target, because after the 3rd generations, babies are born more compliant and easily led and highly suggestible, whether they're being abused or not. And that's what they were aiming for, to create a compliant society that's highly suggestible and easily led. This is a very nefarious, dark project, and it's one that made me a target for it back in 1957. So this has been going on a long time. Again, it came over with Project Paperclip in the wake of World War II, and the information on mind control was suppressed under national security since the inception of the 1947 National Security Act. Secrecy is how they've kept the knowledge suppressed. The censorship, it's been keeping the information from the people for a long, long time. And it's time that truth comes to light so that they realize this pedophile agenda that has been sanctioned in our courts now from my whole lifetime. My father, when I was very, very young, was caught sending child pornography of me through the U.S. mails and was given immunity from prosecution if he would sell me into the project. Well, he was given immunity from prosecution. Think about that. This is like 1960, and already our courts are allowing for the proliferation of pedophilia for a mind control agenda. Now you fast forward to now, and we got the 3 generations. So they think that they're not considering the strength of the human spirit. They're not considering the power of love. They're not considering that truth always survives a lie. And so we're getting the information out there anyway, and people, there's this great awakening happening. People are aware, and they're stopping it in the school systems now. But they thought people would just say, okay, you're right, sexualization of children is normal. It's not normal. It's the most damaging thing to the human brain. It's against our innate being. It's not how we're made. It's not how it's supposed to be. And mind control stops our ability to express our strength of spirit and live in harmony with our life's purpose. So this is ultimately, in so many ways, a spiritual battle. The children are targeted, and this is not the first generation that's been targeted. The good news is it's within us all to heal, and the good news is soul is stronger than genetics, and we can overcome anything there. And we just need to remember that it's within us all to heal. It's within us all to reclaim our free thought, free will, strength of spirit, live the power of love, and gather that infinite strength of the human spirit. It's where we win, where they lose. It's game over. We're already there. The media is just not telling us that the people have already woken up and gathered that. They're not telling us that the people have gone into the school systems to make a difference for the children there. So how do we measure? How do we measure how many are affected when they're affected on so many different levels and in so many different ways? What we need is to overcome whatever number that is by getting truth out there and empowering people to heal and reclaim their birthright to being well.
Yes. That's beautiful. I did want to encourage, can I share my screen again?
Well, of course you can. At any time.
Okay.
I didn't turn it off.
I wanted to I wanted to talk about Kathy's, which I think you guys have seen it, but Trance, Mind Control, Human Slavery, and Healing the Nation. I just encourage everyone to, to watch this, or, play the trailer, and of course, purchase it, because it does help, because, well, you can explain what goes on, financially when you're in that, and how much persecution goes with coming out and telling the truth, and what it does to your career or whatever. I mean, it was just very brave of Cathy to come out, but I just want to encourage everybody to to watch the trailer. This is such a beautiful story, and then just to look it up, and then understand what's going on, because the more people have this information, it's actually a pretty short documentary. An hour and 37 minutes for all this information. It's amazing. And so I just want to encourage everyone to, to look at that. I don't know if y'all can see it, but basically it just talks about everything that she's saying, because some people might be listening, they're like, I have no idea what she's talking about, MK Ultra or whatever. So I just want to encourage that for everyone to go there. Is that okay, Scott? And I guess it's okay. I've already said it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Thank you. That's really sweet. I'm so pleased with that movie, because it's not just about me and my story. It's about how it's affecting us all, and how the children are being targeted, and what we can do about it.
Well, a quick question I had on that. So, so there's so much corruption in the courts and the blackmail, so from Cathy, especially your experience with this, if someone does try to talk about it or expose it, I imagine there's repercussions. I imagine that, they sound crazy, they're silenced, that, people go to extremes to cover this up. What are the main reasons that it stops people from speaking about it? I think you, more than anyone, are probably best to talk on that subject.
People need to heal fully before they even begin speaking out, because they will be met with repercussions, whether it's from their abusers, abusers that haven't identified yet, or whatever. We see so many big entertainers coming out and attempting to, expose it, and attempting to cry out for help, only to be pulled back in because they weren't ready. They weren't healed yet. We have to be absolutely healed first. That's important. And for me, I began speaking out on this in 1990 publicly. And it was love for my daughter that compelled me to speak out. It was love for humanity. It wasn't bitterness and hatred. Love is the most powerful force. But I began speaking out, and people weren't always kind. They weren't always receptive to the information. Many people didn't want to believe it. How sweet is that? Who wants to believe this? Really.
It's true.
And then there's others too who didn't want to believe it, because if they did, they would have to acknowledge their own abuse, and they weren't ready to do that yet. So, when we speak out, it's not to receive anything back from other people. It's to give truth and give solutions, shed light where it needs to be shed. But aside from that, people need to absolutely heal first before speaking out, to make sure that what they're saying is absolute truth and not distorted from being highly suggestible. If people are healing and look outside themselves for answers, they could be misled away. Truth is within us. We need to go within to find that truth and then write it out. And that'll make all the difference in the world.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, there's an abundance of evidence, an abundance of proof of the existence of this MK Ultra program, and yet I think for a lot of folks, it's still in that tinfoil hat category, just because it's such an outrageous truth. It's just much easier to deny it than to look at that evidence and to face it for what it is.
That's true.
I hear from so many people today that say, I heard you speak 30 years ago and I didn't believe a word you said. I wish I had. And it's like, I wish you had too, But time definitely has proven it. My 1995 testimony for Congress, Transformation of America, The time itself has proved it, even though it was already proven by clean members of law enforcement, Secret Service, and intelligence, and national security was invoked on it. Time has proven absolutely exactly what was in there. We're living it today. And if the truth had gotten out there, maybe our children wouldn't be in the position that they are today, where the human trafficking has reached the proportion.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the biggest reasons we started this show, is hearing stories like this. And a lot of people don't believe us. I mean, Scott even told me, my father's a pharmacist and very well respected in the community. I just thought, okay, well, people know him, and I'm his son. I'm just going to go and start talking about this stuff. And it didn't really fall that well on people's ears. Even my mom, she's like, okay, well, some of the stuff I get, but the stuff they do with the kids, she goes, I don't know if I believe that. It's she's probably trying to keep her mind safe, but we have to talk about it to stop it.
Yeah. That's true. That's the only way, and that's why coming together, like for Skippity.com. By the way, it's Skippy, like Skippity peanut, but I mean like Skippy peanut butter. Actually, I'm gonna share my screen again. Is that okay?
Go right ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I just want everybody to know where to go. Obviously, there's a Facebook page too, but okay. So it's just so y'all know, can y'all see? Yes.
Yep.
All right. So Skippy, like Skippy peanut butter, and then DEEDOODAH. But I can tell that people try to spell it different ways. Basically, it was, did I tell y'all how the name came up? It's from the, Disney song Skippity-Doodah. By the way, if anybody wants to know what it is, the whole story is here at the bottom here about where it came from. And so, but I was gonna, so there's a whole page for there to describe that. But this is how you spell it, and then it's .com. And anyway, so just want everybody to know that. But so, oops, I'm sorry. I was going to tell you, how you were talking about the corruption and the well, you had mentioned it just a minute ago, talking to Cathy about the corruption that's within the state. And I think that's thing that people are starting to become aware of it. What about you, Scott and Joe? Are y'all getting feedback? Are people realizing what's going on in the CPS, the government systems, and that kind of thing? Are you?
Well, I think, we
starting to get it, or seeing that. Go ahead.
I would say, since we're on, doing the show, we're around your non-typical type of audience. I mean, of people talking in person. There's still a lot of denial. What do you think, Scott?
Well, it's such a horrific thing to even think of. Children are the most vulnerable, and what does it say about the world you live in, the society you live in, the culture that you live in and participate in, if this kind of thing is permitted to go on? It's that horrific that I think there really is it's an act of courage just to acknowledge, and you pay a price when you do it, because once you're aware of it, you have to do something about it.
Then you have to do something, or not.
It's a call to action.
I know enough people that don't do anything because they know if they just don't talk about it, it'll go away.
That's certainly not my style. I guess.
No. I know it's not y'all. I'm just saying.
I know that. I'm just
to do. So they're like, I'm just saying.
Here we are in the Northwest, and I don't know a whole lot of other shows in Washington, Oregon, Idaho. I mean, I guess I'm a little bit saddened that it's rare what Scott and I are doing. I mean, we know a lot of other truthers out there, but there's not a whole lot of people
you guys are, right?
do this. But I can't live in a world, now that I know about this, I can't live in a world where this is happening to kids. So what can we do? We can start talking to people about it.
Yes.
We can have shows like this. We can start shows like this. We can go to events where then there's this blossoming that happens where, just like the Truth Tour, before Scott and I started the show, and then we met Louis Herms, and now our audience has grown, and then we met Kevin Hoyt, and we're meeting people like you guys, and and then you're connected to LT and Mel K, and we've met Mel K and Gene Ho at the Clay Clark event in Salem last year. But I mean, if you stand up, it's amazing what will appear. And is it worth it when you're helping save children? It's worth everything that we're doing.
Absolutely. You're right. All the
You're
time.
right.
It's all volunteer, isn't it? But
That's beautiful. I really appreciate you saying that. That's so true. And it's good to see so many people getting active in the school system, because the sexualization of our children has reached such public proportions that it's absolutely undeniable what they're doing with this gender confusion and and all, and that the sexualization of children is so wrong, and subjecting them to sex shows. It's got to stop. We better wake up and face the facts.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, and I mean, the grooming process, just culturally, if you watch the last couple of generations and how they've been raised, how they've received their education, what a family unit looks like now compared to what it used to look like, it just makes them more and more vulnerable and less heard, and that's by design. And when you look at the Department of Education, when you look at at the state level, at the federal level, and so on, they're making it very easy for this to happen. They're not fighting the problem, they're enhancing the problem.
Yes.
And presumably for the end goal of having a more compliant populace, or the added benefit of child sacrifice. I mean, that's not a new tradition. Look at ancient Babylon. Read the Bible. I mean, that was
on a while, right?
for a very long time, and it just absolutely has to stop, because this is not. It's just not acceptable for humanity.
That's true.
In any form.
Well, and a very tough thing is, as Scott and I, we filmmakers, I'm a musician, and most of the people that we look up to, or that I've looked up to, speaking of myself, you realize, Bono was just over at the event where Biden was speaking, and I don't even know if that is Bono. I mean, I have my insights on that, but it's like, I've seen that band 18 times, and what is it? What's going on here? And so it was really hard to wrap my head around that so many people in the arts and entertainment world have literally, quote unquote, sold their souls to be part of this. And I'd rather be a janitor scrubbing toilets than, and no offense to janitors, but there's nothing. It's really hard to wrap my head around these people saying yes to this garbage. So we have to stand up to it. We've got to be the adults that we needed as children when we were kids. That's who we have to be in this world. All of us.
That's right.
Well said.
Very well said. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Angela, what we usually try to keep these shows right around an hour.
Yeah. So so I was
anything you want to tie this up with, please go right ahead.
Yes, okay. So I just want everybody to know that if you can't come to Florida, which you wouldn't want to miss it. By the way, it's going to be waterfront. We're completely surrounded by water. Let me show you real quick. Yeah, this is where we're going to be having it. If you know downtown Sarasota, it's absolutely stunning. But there's a lot of waterfront parks around here. So let me try to share this so I can just kind of show everyone where, okay, how do you do it again? I'm sorry.
Oh, share the screen?
Oh, share the screen. Okay, found it. Okay. So I'm building this part of the website right now.
Okay.
That's why it's not up yet. So no one can see this, but I just wanted everybody to see. Okay. So this is where we're skipping. See, it's got its own little beach and Sarasota Bay Walk, and it's just right across from downtown Sarasota, but it's really fun. And it is so gorgeous out there. See this blue water? There's no filters or anything. That's just from Google Earth. And it absolutely, I mean, this is all a marina and all that stuff. So I just wanted you to know about that. And then of course, if you cannot come, I appreciate the donations. And it will go to, y'all look at Bikers Against Trafficking is on the website as in their markup, and of course all their websites and everything. And if anyone is interested in becoming a vendor, this right here is there's a page. It's called Sponsor Vendor Opportunities, and a lot of people have. And so there is a full page that talks about what this is, what the purpose is. It's a whole entire, that's about last year's event. This was last year's speakers. And anyway, it goes on to what you guys can do, what people can do as far as being a vendor or a sponsor, and kind of shows a map of, oops, this is a lot of, it's pretty heavy file, of how, the opportunities that they have. So if there's a business that is watching and they want to be a part of it, when they want to get their brand out there on the stage. And so basically we're starting at 4:00 in the afternoon and we're going to go until sundown. And so there's a plethora of opportunities, to be part of the stage branding. By the way, bikers, we're going to have a lot of bikers out there because of Bikers Against Trafficking. But this too is on the website. It's just generic, but it's a way for people to know whether they can be, involved with, like on the show. Like right now, if there was a sponsor, they would be on the show right now. They'd be on the screen. And look, we can even do pants. We could do skipping. We did it last year. People were begging for it, but anyway, I'll stop that. But that's pretty much it. I hope that everybody comes in and at least gives to it or read about it and find, and then I'll have all the other information with, Cathy's documentary and all of that stuff. That's what I'm building right now. It's just, it was messy and incomplete. So how do I stop the share? I guess y'all can't do that.
Stop. You're
good. You're good. You're good. Well, and if there's people down there, like we know a girl, she goes by the name Manifesting Marin, and she's actually down in that area, and we told her about it. And so if people down in that area, if you know anyone in the Florida area, tell them about it. And then, so that's one thing I wanted to say. And then as far as, and we'll put links below. And Cathy, how about you? How can people find you and hear more about your story? And we've talked about it and see your movie and learn, what it is that you've been through and how inspiring it is that it's like I said last time, it's a miracle that you're even here talking with us. So
it is.
It is. I feel so fortunate to be part of solutions these days and seeing so many people awake and aware. People can find me on my website at trance-formation.com, TRANCE-formation.com. All my information is secured there. My blogs, people can contact me through there. And I'm so excited to get to be part of Skippydeedoodah. What a positive, empowering way to bring this harsh truth to light in a way that empowers and is what a beautiful venue. Even the website itself is just glowing. I'm excited, and
thank you.
I'm excited for the impact it will make for the children's sake. Thank you for all you do. I appreciate you so much, Angela. And
And thank you, Scott and Joe. I know you're in the Northwest. So, well, if everything works out right, why don't y'all organize one there and I'll be up there. You can have all that.
Good idea.
I'm good. I better go over real well up there.
Yeah, it's running through that my mind right now.
Okay.
I won't say, we can't do any dates or anything like that as far as.
Oh goodness, no. It's it's a pretty
2024. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to thank you both for being such a huge part of the solution to this problem. And
thank y'all.
for fighting. So
thank y'all.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Really
thank you for
appreciate
getting
it.
the word out and having us on here. Thank you, Cathy.
Thank you.
All right, ladies.
Thanks
Thank you so much. We'll talk soon, and take care.
Okay. Thank you, dear. Okay. Bye-bye.